All right, thank you so much. My name is Trinity Walsh. I am the coordinator of early post-secondary opportunities with the Council on Post-Secondary Education here in Kentucky. This is our very first evening webinar that we have done for families and students and practitioners as well. We are really looking forward to talking about dual credit this evening and helping you to understand what dual credit is all about. As I go through the presentation tonight, you might have some questions. If you do, you can put them into the Q&A down at the bottom of your screen. I may not get to them tonight, so what we will do is once the webinar is over, I will go through all of those Q&A questions and I will answer them all, and then I will email them to everybody with the email address that you put in when you logged into the webinar. It will also be available online as well. And that will be on our Futurity website, which I'm going to talk a little bit about at the very end. So we're going to go ahead and get started about understanding what dual credit is. So what is dual credit here in Kentucky? So in Kentucky, dual credit is a course which allows students to earn high school credit and college credit simultaneously. Many states use the term maybe dual enrollment or concurrently enrolled, but here in Kentucky, we use the term dual credit. The course can be taught on a college campus or a high school campus, and it's always in conjunction with a college or university here within the state of Kentucky. And this is in state regulation so that it is codified, it is there, and we have it available for our students. Students in the state of Kentucky are permitted to take a dual credit course if they meet minimum requirements determined by the higher education institution and the high school. So it can be taken at the high school, taught by a credentialed high school teacher. So you may have a teacher at your school who is able to teach dual credit courses, and you're taking courses with them there. You can take them online with a college professor who is teaching the course. You might be taking it at the high school with a college professor coming to your high school and teaching the course, or you might be taking it on a college campus with the college professor teaching the course. So there's lots of ways that you can be taking a dual credit course in Kentucky. So why should you take dual credit? Well, we've got some really great data that recently came out with CPE, and dual credit courses allow students to simultaneously earn high school and college credit. And we have a goal here in Kentucky, and it's a first of its kind in the entire state, of having 50% of our students in Kentucky complete at least one dual credit course with a qualifying grade of C or higher. And that's a really ambitious goal, one would think, but I'm going to show you some data that it's really not that far. And we're really excited about all of the students who are participating in dual credit or thinking about participating. Why should you take dual credit? It helps with college matriculation, which means going to college at all, student success and retention once they get into college, and then completing those credentials, completing those degrees when you get into college. So if we look here, we can go back to 2017 and we can look and we can see that the numbers of students who are participating in dual credit are growing every single year. So it's grown about 65%, 66% since we started with dual credit students back in 2017. And then since then, also the number of credit hours that students have taken has grown about 72%. So you can see significant growth for our students here in dual credit, and it just keeps growing. The portion of dual credit students who are participating in dual credit, as you see, we're at about 43% right now. So it's grown about 19 percentage points over the last several years. And before I said our goal is 50%. So we are very close to that right now. We're at 43%. And we anticipate that this number will continue to grow as we go through each of our subsequent years. Our goal is to have that 50% by 2030, but we're hoping that we hit that number before then. So as we think about outcomes for students who are thinking about dual credit, and if you're thinking about why is dual credit maybe a good choice for me? If we look at this, we can see that students in Kentucky who are attempting a dual credit course are going to college at a much higher rate than students who are not attempting a dual credit course. And this is any type of dual credit course. So it might be an English 101 course, or it might be a career and technical education course that you're taking with your school. So it's any type of dual credit course. Also, you're seeing that students who have participated in dual credit, when they do go on to college, have a much higher GPA. So you can see that they're going to have almost a half a point higher GPA than those students who have not participated on average. So that's also a bonus for taking dual credit. When we look at the financial aspect, that's something that is pretty important to a lot of folks. And we can see that the students who are participating in dual credit have less unmet financial need when they go to college than they do when they haven't participated in dual credit. And that can be for a lot of reasons. Maybe they're earning more scholarship opportunities. Maybe they don't have to take as many courses because they've already taken them as dual credit. So there's lots of reasons why that might be, but overall, they're going to have typically less financial unmet need. As we also look at staying in college, being retained, and continuing on to finish that degree, the students who are participating in dual credit are being retained at a much higher rate as well. So about 12 points higher than the students that are not participating in dual credit. So again, another reason why dual credit is so helpful and so beneficial for students in the long term and not just immediately when they're in high school. So how do you get started with dual credit? Well, every high school is going to have a little bit of a different process. So I'm going to encourage you to look around your school and talk to your folks at your school who are in charge of your dual credit. So generally, dual credit information is given to students during your scheduling time. And for a lot of you, that's probably right now. But there might be other resources such as websites or flyers that your school offers to talk to you about what dual credit options you have. I would say contact your dual credit coordinator. And if you're not sure who that is, start with your school counselor, who actually might be your dual credit coordinator. The school counselor should be able to point you in the right direction of who you need to talk to for dual credit. The other people that I would encourage you to talk to is any teachers in your building that are teaching dual credit courses. Talk to them about what those courses are like. How do they operate? How have students been successful in the past? Get more information about those courses from some of those teachers that might be teaching in your building. And then I would also encourage you to talk to other students who are taking dual credit because I think they always have a nice perspective on what it looks like in your school to take those dual credit courses. So how do you participate in dual credit? So at the high school, there's several different ways, and we've talked a little bit about this, and I would just want to reiterate and give you some more information. So you can take it at your high school with a credentialed high school teacher. So that teacher has been certified by the university that is teaching that course. They have to follow the syllabus, the guidelines, and the curriculum of the university. So even though it may be a teacher you've had in the past who maybe you're taking English 101 and maybe you had them for your English 2 class, you know, they're still teaching the college course. They're following the exact same class and curriculum that they do if you were on that university's campus. So they become a college professor during that time. So they're technically a professor of that university. And even though the teacher is a high school teacher, they're expected to only communicate with the student regarding the course per the policy of the university, just like any other college student. And we're going to talk a little bit about that when we get a little further into the presentation about the responsibilities of the student and what that looks like when it comes to communicating with professors and the university. Online, you can take a course with the professor. And the course is generally taught by a professor employed by the university. The professor, again, must follow the syllabus, guidelines, and curriculum. The course is usually taught online using the university's learning platform. So that might be Canvas or Blackboard or some other platform. So some of you might currently have learning systems that you use at your high school, and they would not necessarily be using that same system. So you would have to make sure that you are able to access that online platform with whatever device you have. The course can have students who are not high school students in it and are traditional college students enrolled in the course. So there may be a course that you're taking, and maybe 3 of you are dual credit students, and maybe 17 are students who are taking the course who are traditional students enrolled on campus. So I think that's a really important thing to think about when you're taking an online course with a professor, is that generally they don't know who the dual credit students are and who the traditional campus students are. So I think it would be really important for you as the dual credit student to just let the professor know, like, hey, I'm a dual credit student. I attend X, Y, and Z high school. And I just wanted you to be aware of that. I don't necessarily think that that's going to change anything about how they interact with you in the class. But I think it's important for them to just understand that you're just a little bit different situation. And generally, at this point, most of the professors are fully aware about dual credit students being in their class and understand that. It's important for you to self-monitor your progress as a dual credit student. So, the high school doesn't always receive notification of what's happening with the student, maybe a midterm grade and a final grade. So you've got to be aware of, how am I doing in class, and monitoring that and being able to communicate with that professor about what's going on. And again, the professor is not necessarily going to be emailing home or calling home if you're having bad grades. They're not going to be telling the school necessarily if you're forgetting assignments. So you've got to make sure that you are aware and that you are responsible for the courses that you're taking online. And the dual credit coordinator at your school can help with communication and is usually willing to assist you. But ultimately, it's going to be the student's responsibility to make that communication happen with the professor and the university. Sometimes professors come to high schools and teach the dual credit courses. So again, it's a college professor from the university, still again following the syllabus, guidelines, and curriculum. It's taught on the high school campus. Again, students are required to self-monitor. Typically, the high school doesn't receive information again. And if students have questions about assignments and materials, they need to make sure that they're contacting their professor. Unlike your teachers who are in your building at your school, they're not there all the time. They may be there for just that one period that they're teaching you, and they're going back to their university campus. So you've got to make sure that you understand what you need to do to be able to contact that professor, whether that's email. Sometimes they give you their cell phone and they want you just to text them, but whatever their method is. And then again, the dual credit coordinator can help you with communication, but ultimately it's going to be your responsibility to make sure you're communicating with your teacher. And then lastly, on the college campus. So there's a lot of ways that schools will participate if their students are on a college campus. Some schools will bus students there during the day because that's part of the programming that they have. Some students are allowed to transport themselves to the college campus and take the courses there. So it's really up to your high school on how that they do this. There are some high schools where the student may not be able to take a course on campus during a regular school day, just the way the schedule works out, but maybe they go and take a class in the evening at the university. So there's lots of different ways that this might happen for students taking college campus courses. So it's important that you talk to your dual credit coordinator about what that looks like at your high school, because they all look a little bit different. So who are the students that can participate in dual credit? So every college and every high school can have some of their own guidelines. So I want you to be aware of that as well. CPE, we state that in order for students to be eligible to take dual credit classes, they need to be admitted to a Kentucky public post-secondary institution. So any college or university in Kentucky that has a dual credit pathway that they're working on. So all of our public universities in the state of Kentucky have dual credit pathways, and some of our privates do, so not all of them. And then have to have a GPA of at least 2.5 on a 4-point scale. And then sometimes they may require a composite score on the ACT for admission or for even just certain classes. Now, the institutions and high schools have the right to adjust this. So at your high school or a college that your high school is working with, maybe they say you have to have a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. So you might see some discrepancies from this because they make some adjustments there, as well as with the ACT scores. Typically, I find that most of the time when when they're asking for an ACT score, that's usually because maybe like it's a math class and it's a little bit higher level math class, and they want to make sure that you have the ability. Because at the end of the day, the university wants you to be successful. They want to make sure that you're going to be able to have the skills and the knowledge to take these dual credit courses. So one of the ways they can ensure that you are going to have that success is maybe to have, a 20 or 21 or 22 on the math portion of your ACT for a certain math class or another field. A lot of times, maybe sometimes that happens with computer science as well. So it's all a little bit different based on each university and high school. So again, and I'm going to say this like 100 times, but talk to your school, talk to your dual credit coordinator, because they're going to have the details on anything that might be just slightly different than what I'm presenting here on the screen. So like I said, they may have their own guidelines regarding eligibility and taking dual credit. So there's also dual credit for career and technical education courses. So these might be a little bit different than just having a GPA or an ACT score. Maybe they're going to say, you need to have these certain CTE courses first, and then you can take the higher level course with the institution. For example, maybe there's a welding course that is a dual credit course, and before you can take the dual credit course, that's a welding course with the university, you have to do some prerequisite courses at the high school within your ATC or your CTE program. So those are some of the exceptions when it comes to some of the career and technical education as well. But they want to make sure that, that you have what you need. And so they're going to make those prerequisites public. They should be easily accessible to you or to your dual credit coordinator so that you know what you need to get into those courses. Also, dual credit courses cannot be developmental courses. So for any parents that are on here right now, for some of us that might have been like 090 courses that were taken in college before we could take a first level course. But now we have some developmental courses. So these are the courses that would be before the actual higher level college stuff, just to prepare you. So developmental courses aren't available as dual credit, just traditional dual credit courses. These policies are college and university based. Every institution may have different guidelines. So again, ask lots of questions. If the school doesn't believe that the GPA or test scores don't accurately reflect a student's ability, some colleges and universities will allow the school to write a letter of recommendation for the student. So, and before I would ever encourage a student to go that route, if they're not meeting the minimum requirements, is really think about, is this the right thing for me? And if so, definitely have those conversations with the counselor and the dual credit coordinator, so that you are ensured that you are going to have success. And some courses require ACT, higher ACT or GPA, because of, certain classes. So like excuse me. So I've shown the example there of all computer science courses may require a student to have at least a 25 on the math section. That's just an example. That's not fact. That's not for every university, but that's just an example of what I mean by that. So which colleges and universities offer dual credit? So every high school is going to have a dual credit partnership with one or more colleges or universities that they work with. And so these schools and school districts decide who they would like to partner with for these dual credits, and they enter into an agreement with them. So students who are interested in taking these dual credit courses can take them with those partner institutions. So I would check with your high school to find out who your partner institutions are. And then if there is a specific course that you want to take at a different institution in Kentucky that you do not currently partner with, have those conversations with your dual credit coordinator about those partnerships. Sometimes they can create a new partnerships, but sometimes they can't. So it's really important that you understand who those dual credits are coming from. So once you take these dual credit classes, how are they going to affect your grades and your transcript? So the high school is going to record your dual credit course on your high school transcript. The grade should align with the grade that's been earned from the college and the university. So if you earn an A in a course at the college or university, your high school transcript should say that you have an A in that same course on your high school transcript. Now, the high school transcript generally doesn't award your college credit when you enroll in your post-secondary institution after graduation. So when you graduate from high school and you submit your high school transcript, and if you've got dual credit on there, you will still need to submit your college transcript so that they get those college credits. So it's important to know that even though the dual credit grades are going to be on your high school transcript, to get those credits once you have graduated from high school and entered college full time, to get those, you will need to have your college transcript from the institution you took dual credit sent to wherever you are attending college full time. Now, if it should happen to be the same institution, so for example, if you take dual credit courses from Northern Kentucky University and you graduate from high school and attend Northern Kentucky University, they will already have record of those credits and you will not need to send them a transcript. They will impact your GPA at your high school and at the college level. So some high schools may weight your GPA for those dual credit courses, and some high schools may not. And how much they weight it is up to each high school. That's all a part of their own school policy. So you need to make sure you understand how that is going to affect your GPA at the high school level. So since you're going to have a high school and a college transcript, the grade that is on your college transcript could potentially impact your eligibility, scholarships, and admission. So I want you to hear me say that again. So you're going to have a college transcript that's going to have grades on it, and it could impact future college scholarships, eligibility, and admission. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I just want people to understand the reality of the situation, because I think sometimes students might take a dual credit course, and maybe for some reason they might do poorly, and they've got this college grade, and when they take it to wherever they go after graduation, they don't realize that is going into their GPA. They've already got a GPA started in college. So it's important to understand that when you take those dual credit courses, how it's going to impact you in the future. So always do your very best. Now, what is the process for students to sign up for dual credit courses? So generally, all students are going to complete the following process to enroll in dual credit courses. you're going to complete a dual credit application for the university or college. You're going to submit the transcript, that's the high school transcript, and test scores if needed. Usually this is taken care of by your high school. So usually you don't have to do this. There's a process at your high school. They know who's going to be applying for dual credit and they generally submit it, but double check with your high school. And then you're going to complete course selection, the course selection process each semester. Typically, your high school dual credit coordinator will work with you on this. Sometimes even the college dual credit person will come into your building and work with you on this as well. So, and when I say complete a dual credit application to the university, many of the colleges will have a separate application, not a traditional, I'm applying to that university so I can go there full-time application. It's a dual credit application. So you're going to fill that out, get admitted to the university, and then you'll go through the scheduling process for the university. So how much does it cost to take a dual credit course, and how many of these courses can you take? So students are ultimately responsible for the tuition cost of the dual credit course, but KIA does offer dual credit scholarships. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Students who are enrolled in a dual credit course also might have some books and fees and materials. Those are not covered by the KIA scholarship. So you may have to pay for those items if you are taking the dual credit course. So please be aware that there might be some additional costs. Now, some schools and school districts have additional funding to cover those costs. But in order to know if that is available for you, again, talk to your dual credit coordinator in your building to find out if there are any of those fee or of those programs to help pay for some of those costs. Otherwise, you might have some additional costs beyond the tuition that you actually have to pay for. Here's an example of what the tuition looked like this past year for dual credit students. So on average, about $95 per credit hour. So a total of about $285 per course, because generally courses are about 3 credit hours. So this was generally how much it cost to take a dual credit course. Now, KIA offers scholarship opportunities. So we're going to talk a little bit about that to help offset some of those courses here in just a minute. The number of dual credit courses that you can take is based upon your school and district policy. Some school districts might say a student can take 1 dual credit course per semester, and then you take 1 dual credit course. Some high schools have programs where students are only taking dual credit courses and they're out of the building most of the day, and they may be on one of their local KCTCS campuses or university campuses for the day taking all of dual credit. So every high school is a little bit different on how many courses that you can take. So again, talk to your dual credit coordinator. Courses that are beyond the number of available scholarships, we will talk about that in a second, have to be paid for by the student. And again, some school districts pay for these fees for the student because they have a programming, and some of them require the student to pay for this stuff out of pocket. So every school district is a little bit different when it comes to funding dual credit. And so I will again encourage you to talk to your dual credit folks. So speaking of scholarships, here's what the policy is. Currently, students in grades 11 and 12 are eligible to receive the dual credit scholarship. Students are eligible for 2 dual credit scholarships each year that they are enrolled in 11th grade and 12th grade. So 2 in 11th, 2 in 12th grade. Now you see I got a little star there. The reason I have that is because there's not currently a legislative mandate that says 2 in 11th grade and 2 in 12th grade. It actually just says 2. So it could revert back to only 2 courses, 2 dual credit scholarships over the course of a student's academic career. So it could be that you only get 2 scholarships. You can use it in the 11th grade or the 12th grade or 1 in each grade. But As of right now, there's 2 in each grade, but it could change. So I want you to be aware of that. And again, talk to your dual credit coordinator because after this legislative session is over, they might have some better information about what that might look like. And again, it could change from year to year. These scholarships cover up to 3 credit hours per course. And if a course is more than 3 credit hours, the student is responsible for the remaining balance. So, for example, there are some science courses that you can take for dual credit. The science course itself is 3 credit hours. That is covered by your scholarship. But additionally, it might have a lab that goes with it. That typically is a 1 or 2 credit hour course. That would not be covered under your scholarship. So you need to be prepared to pay for those additional credit hours for that course. So make sure when you're signing up for your dual credit courses, you understand how many credit hours the course is that you're taking. And if it's beyond 3 credit hours, you may have some additional costs. There is also the Work Ready Scholarship. Now, this is a little bit different than the dual credit scholarship. So the Work Ready Dual Credit Scholarship is available for students in grades 9 through 12. So if you're in high school, you are eligible. And students are eligible to receive 2 Work Ready scholarships during each year of high school. So 2 in 9th, 2 in 10th, 2 in 11th, 2 in 12th grade. These scholarships cover up to 3 credit hours, again, just like the other scholarship did. But this scholarship is only for KDE and KIA approved courses that are high demand, are a part of the high demand workforce sector. So typically these are going to be your CTE courses, and they're going to qualify for the work ready. So if you have dual credit programming at your high school or ATC that are part of CTE, typically these are covered. Additionally, education is a part of that high demand workforce sector. So if your high school is offering the education pathway, that would be covered as well. So this is the difference between the Work Ready Dual Credit Scholarship and just the Dual Credit Scholarship. Your Dual Credit Scholarship is going to generally cover your gen ed types of courses. The application process for those scholarships are going to be completed at the beginning of the fall or spring, depending on what semester you're taking the courses. The application is completed through the KIA website. So if you've already set up a KIA account so that you can monitor your KEYS money, you're going to have the same login information. So one of the things that sometimes would happen with my students would be that their parents would set up their KIA accounts so they could monitor their KEYS money. And then we would go in to fill out their dual credit scholarship information. And the students couldn't set up a new account because one had already been set up, and they would have to contact their parents or guardians to get the login information. So just make sure that if you've already set up a KIA account, that you have saved that username and password, especially for the student, because they're going to need that if they're going to apply for a dual credit scholarship or work ready dual credit scholarship. And typically the high school or college dual credit coordinator works with the students to complete the application and submit it. So it is something that is done in the fall at a very specific time. Students cannot go in there now and apply for it. Their information gets uploaded from the high school into the KIA system saying, yes, these students are planning to take dual credit courses. And then from there, the application will become available. So not everybody can just go in and apply for these scholarships. It is done once the high school has uploaded the list of students who are planning to take dual credit, and then the students can apply for those scholarships. KIA distributes the awarded scholarships directly to the university sometime after October 1st. So students have until October 1st to complete the application for the fall. And so it says October 1st, but it's also March 1st in the spring. Once the university gets the money from KIA, they will apply it to the student's bursar account. So their financial aid account, they will apply that money. Sometimes the university will send bills to the students even if they're expecting the scholarships. And some universities may say, we want you to go ahead and pay that balance. When the money comes in from Kia, we'll send you a refund check. Other universities may say, we can wait until a little bit later. Once we get that money, we'll be good. So it's really important that you understand the process from the university that you are working with on whether or not you're going to need to pay and get a refund, or if there's just going to be a holding period while they're waiting for that money to come in from Kia. When the scholarship funds are received and processed by the university, then if the balance is already paid, again, you will get that refund check. Okay. There is not necessarily dates that the high schools have of when this happens, because some of it is rolling. As things are coming in, the good folks at Kia are processing it and sending stuff out. So it's kind of a rolling system. So it's not like on this day, everybody's money comes in and we process and we go from there. So just know that the people at Kia are working really hard for us, and they are working to get that money to the institutions as fast as they can. And then the institutions, those folks in the dual credit and financial aid offices, are working as fast as they can to process all of that money so that folks don't have balances. Students who have a balance on their account at the time of the registration for the next semester. So if you are a student who is taking a course in the fall, and then you plan to take a course again in the spring, if you have a balance on your account, they may not let you register for that class until you've paid that balance from the fall. So it's important that you understand where you stand financially with the institution. Usually you can see this through your portal account, because once you become a dual credit student, you are a student of that institution, of that college and that university, and you should have access to log into your account, and you should be able to see, do I have any bills? Is there unpaid balances? What needs to happen there? So please make sure that you understand what is happening financially through your university account. We would never want that to delay anybody's registering for another semester of courses. So what classes can you take? So a lot of times we recommend for students to take general education courses. So in the state of Kentucky, we have a general education core, which is going to be our communications course, written and oral communications, like our English 101s and a lot of times speech courses. Our quantitative reasoning courses, which are going to be generally like math-based courses. Arts and humanities, natural sciences, so anything from biology to chemistry to earth science, and then social and behavioral sciences like maybe psychology, sociology, things like that. So those are always good places to start, because a lot of majors will require that you have those courses. And a lot of times the general education courses, they should easily transfer from one Kentucky state school to another. So if I take a course at Eastern Kentucky University, but I end up attending the University of Kentucky, those general education courses should transfer from one institution to another. But it's ultimately the responsibility of the student and family for checking for that transfer. So I would recommend that you talk with admissions counselors when you're getting ready to apply to colleges and say, here are the dual credits that I have. How are they going to transfer? Also talk to your dual credit coordinator, because a lot of times they have a really good relationship with those colleges and they can make sure that things are transferring right. Also, if you see on the screen, I've got a little bit.ly there, and it has a link to all of the transfer site portals for each of the Kentucky institutions. So you can go to that link and then you can click on the institution that you intend to, or you think you might be going to for full-time enrollment after graduation. And then you can say, I took, Sociology 101 at this institution. How is it going to transfer to this other institution? So I would recommend having lots of conversations about that. When you're choosing your college course, discuss this with your school counselor, your dual credit coordinator, and make sure it makes sense for your future and current high school path. So think about what your future major might be and choose that course appropriately. If you're not sure what your major might be, that's okay. But start with some general education courses such as maybe an English or a math course. And don't take courses just because you like a certain area. So, for example, you might really like social studies, but taking 4 or 5 dual credit social studies or social science or history courses may not necessarily be the best fit in the long run because most college majors, unless you end up being a history major, are only going to require you to take 1 or 2 social science courses. And so you want to make sure that the courses that you take in high school, when you transfer them to your institution after graduation, that they count for something and they're not just elective courses, and you still have to take other things. So please make sure that you have a good understanding of what that might look like. So I'm going to give you some examples of some best practices in choosing a dual credit course. And this is a little convoluted and complicated. I know this. But here's one way. One way to do it is looking at the college major program and degree requirements. So if you see on the screen here, I have the University of Louisville's website pulled up. And what I did was on academics, I went, clicked on that, and I went to where it says all degrees and programs. And from that screen, you get to the next screen, which is the undergraduate, graduate online programs. I choose undergraduate programs because that's what you're going to be when you go into college for the first time. You will be an undergraduate. From there, it gives me a list of choices, a list of majors that they have. So, for example, I looked at communication, and you can see in communication, you can get a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. That's what BA and BS means. Um, and you can click on one of those. And then from there, what you're going to see is what they call a flight plan. These are the courses that if you are in that major, these are the courses that you would have to take. Now, these are not the courses for the communication. I chose a business path for this one. So, but like if you're looking here, you're going to need a college writing class, so English 101 or a college algebra, math 111. Maybe those might be dual credit courses that you might want to consider because you see that in this major that you're considering, these are courses that you're going to have to take anyway. Another way to look for dual credit creative pathways is exploration tracks. Now, I know on your screen these might be kind of tiny, but I just wanted you to see an example of what that might look like. So at NKU, they have some exploration tracks. So what they have done is they have picked out some courses for you already that they know will help you if you are going to become a nurse, for example, here. And they say, if you're going to become a nurse, here are the courses, the dual credit courses that you should take because they are going to help you with nursing programs at our university and potentially at any university you transfer to. On the right side of the screen, you're going to see Thomas More's listing of dual credit pathways, and you can see they have a large list of pathways that you can take where they give you some examples of what it is that you should be taking if you're interested in these majors. So if I was interested in becoming, going into criminal justice, I might click on that and it would show me a document that is very similar to the NKU document of here are the courses that you should take in high school for dual credit because it will help you when you graduate. The other thing is, so when you look on the dual credit websites for some of these colleges, they might have popular dual credit courses. So for example, on Eastern Kentucky's website, they have a list on their dual credit portion of their website of popular dual credit courses. These are courses that generally transfer most places that students are getting credit for, that apply to most majors, and they're having a lot of success with. So this is another way to determine which dual credit course should I be taking. So when we're thinking about this, we need to think about the timeline for taking a dual credit course and the processes. Now, this graphic, hopefully you can see it on your screen. If not, this will be on the website so you can see what this looks like a little bit easier at your own convenience. But if we start at the very top, we're going to see that learning about dual credit options from the high school is kind of a year-long experience. So you might want to start talking about that early. Maybe if you're a freshman or a sophomore, maybe you want to start talking about that with your counselor or your dual credit coordinator, and you can talk about it anytime through the year. The next, generally, sometime between January and March, most high schools have their high school scheduling. And so a lot of them might say, this is when we're going to start the dual credit process. This is where you're going to sign up and tell us what dual credit courses you're interested in, or if you're just generally interested in taking dual credit. And then you're going to see that if you're looking at this, you're going to apply for your dual credit courses at different times of the year. So in September, so when you go back to school, sometime in September, October, you might apply for spring dual credit classes in the second semester. This time of year, after you've done some of your initial high school scheduling stuff, maybe you're going to be applying for your fall dual credit courses between now and March or April. Again, like I said before, with those KIA scholarships, you're going to complete that scholarship in the fall and or in the spring, and those have to be done typically by October 1st and March 1st. And you'll complete some registration with the university so that you're actually enrolled in the course. So it's just like real college, traditional college, where you have to apply and get admitted, and then you sign up for your courses. Same thing here. You apply, you get admitted to dual credit, then you sign up for your courses. The money is being sent to the university from KIA, and then students are accepted and are enrolled in dual credit courses. So it's sort of this process that happens throughout the course of the year. And again, it can be a little bit confusing. I'm not going to lie. As somebody who is a dual credit coordinator at my high school, I know the process can be confusing for families and students at times. So please communicate with your dual credit coordinators and your school counselors, because they will help you and they will make sure that the process is working so that you can get done what you need to get done at the right time. When we were talking about responsibilities for the student, and I've talked a little bit about this, but I want to reiterate this. It's important that while students are in high school, when they enroll in dual credit courses, you're technically college students. And there's this thing called FERPA. A lot of people know about HIPAA, which is protection of your medical information. So when you go to the doctor, you've got that. FERPA is a very similar thing for education. So it protects your educational records. Now, when you apply to a dual credit program and you are in college, if a student is attending an institution of post-secondary education at any age, the student becomes an eligible student, meaning you fall under these FERPA guidelines, and all rights under FERPA transfer from the parent to the student. So even if you're 16 and you're taking a college course, you have the rights as the student for all of the communication. So now that can be scary for parents sometimes because they want to make sure that they're in the loop. So there is such a thing as the FERPA waiver. The FERPA waiver has to be completed with the university. So you're going to want to talk to the college dual credit person about those FERPA waivers and if those should be signed, to share records, and whether or not you're going to be getting that information. So that is something that you're going to need to have that conversation with your high school and your college dual credit coordinators to understand the FERPA waiver and how that might be signed and used. Why might there be a FERPA waiver signed? High school involvement, so that the high school can get access to grades and attendance. So maybe it's for the high school. So maybe, the parent is going to sign off on it. The student is going to sign off on it and say, we want you to be able to have access. That way you can help us with the monitoring. And sometimes it's going to be parents so that the parents can help track performance. So it's important to understand this. Signing the FERPA is optional. So if a student chooses not to sign and give parents the rights, they can do that. And it can limit the information of who is who is getting the information from the university, and it's revocable. So a student can revoke those rights as well. So this is all just part of the dual credit process. The university will expect the student to behave like all traditional university students, and the onus is on the student to complete all the assignments and work on time. So we've talked about that a little bit. So it's important to understand that when you are taking a dual credit course, it is on you. You must get it done. And the thing I can't reiterate enough is to communicate with the professor. Communicate in person, communicate in email, communicate through the learning management system, which might be Canvas or Blackboard, or communicate by phone if they give you that information. So there's lots of ways that you can communicate with your professor, and especially if they're not somebody who is in your building every day, it's a university person, please make sure that you're talking to them about what is going on, because they're there to help you, and they're there to educate you, and they can only help you and educate you as long as you are communicating with them. So please make sure that you are doing that. I know for students, they're not, students and email sometimes is not a great thing, but professors generally like email. So if you're not an email person and you're a student and you're going to take dual credit, learn to email folks. The other thing is dual credit courses are taught on the college and university calendar. So it's important to remember this when you're taking a dual credit course, because the courses are semester based and not year long. So if you have year long courses at your high school, these are not going to be year long. Those are going to be in the fall or the spring. Some courses may be shorter than approximately a semester 16-week course. Some dual credit courses are accelerated courses, so maybe they're only 8 weeks long. Breaks and holidays may align differently from the high school calendar. So it's important for the students to be responsible for attending classes and completing the coursework during that time when maybe they don't have class. So a good example of this is typically spring breaks do not align. College spring breaks are generally early March. High school spring breaks are late March and in April. And I think one of the things that dual credit students have encountered at times is they are in a spring course, they are going on spring break with their family or friends, and they're going to be taking a trip, but their dual credit course is still going on. So it's important that students communicate with their professor and talk to them about what are the options for them. Is it completing course work and submitting it online at a different time? Is it a virtual situation? But what does that look like? So it's important for you as the dual credit student to make sure, again, that you are talking to that professor and really communicating with them. Also, make sure you read your syllabus and talk to your professor about the assignments and classwork so that you know when things are due. Because that is sometimes a little bit different than in high school, where you have a teacher who is telling you, Friday we're going to turn this in, and Monday we're going to have this quiz, and some professors, everything's just on the syllabus, and you just have to know that this is what's coming up. So please make sure that you're reading your syllabi. Students, again, are going to be enrolled in that learning management system that might be different from your high school. So it's by the college and university, so you have to be able to log into that. You're expected to use this learning management system. So saying, well, that's not what we use at my school, so I don't know how to use it. It's not going to be acceptable. You've got to learn to use it. And you're going to be responsible for make sure that you maintain the login information so that you can get online. So once you've finished your dual credit course, what happens then? So students will have a college and university transcript like we've talked about. Generally, you can access your college or university transcript in your portal, and you can see an unofficial transcript there, and you can check it to make sure that it's accurate once your course is over. You'll need to make sure that you send your official transcript to the institution that you're attending after high school graduation. The high school does not send that. You will need to send that college transcripts. So I'm going to say that again. Your college transcript from where you took dual credit will need to be sent to the institution that you attend after you graduate high school. The high school does not do that. So please make sure you know how to do that before you graduate. Maybe ask your dual credit coordinator or your school counselor how to do that before you graduate, because they can help you with that. But if not, generally you can go to the student clearinghouse and you can have your transcripts sent. Most colleges have portals through there, and you can have those transcripts sent from institution to institution. And then last, once you finish that class, celebrate. You did it. You finished a college course. Take a bit of time to celebrate your accomplishment and know that college is possible for you. I have thoroughly enjoyed hearing stories from students across the state and their parents and dual credit coordinators who say, I had a student who took a dual credit course who didn't think that they were college material. They didn't think they were going to college. They didn't know that they could do it. And they took one dual credit course and realized that it was something that was possible for them. It was something that they could do. And then they went on and they were successful in college. So when you take that dual credit course, and if you finish it and you're successful, celebrate that, because you know college is possible for you. And as we finish up, I want to share a video here for you from some experts in dual credit and why they think dual credit is important and how it has helped them.
Hi, my name is Amanda Jerome, and I am the Davis County Public Schools College and Career Readiness Coordinator. I oversee all of the dual credit programs in Davis County schools, and we offer a lot of general and technical dual credit to students in our school system through Owensboro Community and Technical College. They're our biggest provider of dual credit, and couldn't have this amazing partnership without their support. For credit, I love it. I was a first generation college student myself, so just have a real passion for helping families. I really want to change kids' lives, and I know that we have through our program. Hi, I'm Kelly Spa. I am the College and Career Readiness Coach at Apollo High School. My favorite thing about dual credit is just allowing these students the opportunity to experience a college class prior to entering a full course load as a full-time college student. It gives them the confidence that they can and will be successful in a college course, and it will encourage them to continue in order to finish out a degree program.
I'm Matt Brannon. I am the College and Career Readiness Coach at Davis County High School. That's one of the most exciting things about this job, is to be able to connect with students about what they want to do in the future, whether it's general dual credit that we offer here through Owensboro Community and Technical College, getting themselves ready for a 4-year degree, or if it's dipping into the technical world, taking classes like auto, diesel, welding, just so many opportunities that are out there for those students. And I just love having those options of taking really meaningful classes as they prepare themselves going into their freshman year of college.
I've been teaching dual credit here at the hospital for 2 years. And I have been teaching the college algebra. I think it's really awesome that students can leave high school with so many college credits to not be in college for too long and for half the price as well. And also college algebra is like a very common course that students have to have for most degrees. And so just getting that out of the way at the high school and still having that high school experience, I think is really awesome opportunity.
Also 20 years in the classroom from the elective side. One of the things that I love about the dual credit program is the rigor that it provides for the upperclassmen that may not have the ability to take an elective class that will challenge them in their junior and especially in their senior year.
Hello, my name is Jack Holland, and I'm currently a student at Lindsey Wilson College in Columbia, Kentucky. Throughout my time in high school, I was able to take dual credit classes, which allowed me to earn college credit while still being in high school. This ultimately led to me attaining my associate's degree from South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College before I even graduated high school. While I thought this had many benefits at the time, and it did, I didn't really realize the full impact of those benefits until I got here at Lindsey Wilson College. Because I have my associate's degree through dual credit, I've been able to take classes that I otherwise would not have been able to take, especially such early on in my college career. and has allowed me to further explore my interests and choose the classes and the major pathway that is best for me. So I would definitely recommend dual credit classes to anyone that has the opportunity to take them, as they have definitely changed my life for the better. Thank you.
I'm a student in dual credit and I attend Davis County High School. I've been taking dual credit classes for 2 years now, and I have gotten almost over 30 hours. I've gotten over 30 hours. I've taken quite a few, but anything from English, biology, any elective classes I've taken, you can get so many classes out of the way. Like I visited USI and went over all of the courses that I need, and half of them are already out of the way. It's really good to know that as a freshman, that you're not going to have a fat load of courses whenever, like the second you get there, because of how great an opportunity it is. And my sister did it, and it got her a lot further in nursing. She like drilled it into my head to do it, so I did it and I don't regret it.
Hi, my name is Grace and I'm a senior at Northern Kentucky University. I took dual credit classes my senior year of high school for English, and it helped me get ahead in college and be able to graduate a semester early. And I also learned a lot of new writing skills that have helped me throughout my college experience.
I too am a parent of dual credit students. I have a daughter that's a freshman at the University of Kentucky, and she was able to go in as her freshman year as an actual sophomore due to dual credit. But she was also able to do that dual credit in the building and at OCTC and online. But still have that full high school experience. She was very active at her high school, and graduated as one of the top students in her class. So very proud of that. And then I have another daughter that's currently a junior in high school that takes online dual credit because that works with her schedule better.
So I'm a parent of a junior that's in the program as well, and so I can see the benefits that it has, both financially and getting them ready for the future.
I love dual credit, and I hope that that shows on my face when I talk to families.
Hey y'all, it's Kristen Hornsby. I am the Associate Director for Dual Credit at Thomas More University. And I also teach an Introduction to Theater course for our dual credit students. Now, the studies show that students who have dual credit experience typically have a higher GPA their first semester, they persist at higher rates, and they graduate at higher rates than the students who don't have dual credit experience. And I think that really boils down to my personal favorite thing about dual credit, which is that it provides a smoother transition for students. It provides a supportive environment as they are adapting to new vocabulary and the new expectations of higher education. And that support really helps to boost their confidence and grow their autonomy so that they are ready for those next steps when they fully matriculate to college.
All right, we're going to wrap up here. But before we finish, I want to give a quick little plug to a new college education and career website that is going to launch officially tomorrow, but it is live right now. And that is futurity.org. And you see that on the site. And this presentation and any questions that you might have had that you've put into the Q&A will be available on the Futurity website. So that will be available for you, but feel free to go there and click around and check it out. And hopefully this will help you with any other additional dual credit questions that you may have, but also your college going process or workforce process in the future. So this is, we're really excited about this and looking forward to seeing the folks of Kentucky use this platform. My name again is Trinity Walsh. I'm the coordinator of early post-secondary opportunities here at CPE. My email address is here on the screen as well. So if you have any questions at any time, you're always welcome to email me too. I'm happy to answer them for you at any time. And lastly, please stay connected with us at CPE if you're interested. We have our Twitter, now X. We've got our website as well, and we have a newsletter as well that you could subscribe to. We are so very grateful that you have joined us this evening. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you for joining us this evening. I really appreciate that you stuck with me, that you spent a little bit of time with me, that you learned a little bit more about dual credit. And if you have any questions, again, please reach out. I'm happy to help you at any time. Have a great evening.